I really didn't care who won between Khabib and McGregor. And it's interesting because usually I am biased. I do want a fighter to win. In this case, it really was, from my perspective, let the best man win. Both of them have such interesting styles for them to be matched up against each other. And it seemed likely or possible that McGregor could have beat Khabib. But also Khabib being the Energizer Bunny, or the Energizer fucking bear, and him being such a force with his grappling, that wasn't surprising at all that he dominated McGregor. But what I wanted to talk about though was the aftermath and people's reaction to the aftermath. People calling Khabib, again, I have no ties, no bond. I don't believe in God. I don't care about Khabib's religion, his Russian affiliation. I don't care about the Ireland affiliation. I am completely neutral. I don't even buy into this shit where identity is my world, or identity means so much where somebody associated with my identity. I kind of hate that part about my human nature. That if a dude that looks like me, who could be a complete asshole, but if he's a champion, I'm gonna be like, I want him to win because he looks like me. And just like with McGregor, no matter, I would imagine a lot of Irish people who don't have the same kinds of ethics as McGregor, the same kind of behavioral patterns as McGregor, they probably want him to win. A lot of Muslims who wouldn't fancy slapping a guy in the face or jumping off over an octagon, I'm sure they do love Khabib anyway, because Muslim affiliation or Russian affiliation. But my point is this. People talked about how disgusting Khabib's behavior was and how unwarranted and unjustified it was. And they were acting like there's no equivalency. People are acting like there's no equivalency with what Khabib did and what McGregor did. I heard Tyron Woodley say it though in the UFC post-fight discussion with Bisping. He just brought it up. Tyron was like, well, what about what happened in Brooklyn? Is that not something that's also similar to this? And Bisping said that they're not connected. They are connected. How can you look at Khabib as some kind of... How can you look at what Khabib did as being something so egregious, unparalleled, egregious behavior, when McGregor threw a dolly at this man's bus? He came with a herd of dudes, and out of McGregor's mouth, McGregor said if Khabib would have gotten off that bus, he'd be a dead man and I'd be in jail. McGregor said if he would have gone off that bus, I'm not going to do an Irish accent, if he would have gone off that bus, I'd be in jail and he'd be dead. That's not, I guess people think that that's just mental warfare, that's just shit talking. Y'all trivialize McGregor's antics. That's the problem. Not everyone takes that shit so trivially. Not everyone thinks it's a game. I didn't think it was a game. I was heavily, greatly, wonderfully entertained by that press conference where McGregor was acting a fool and when he was being super disrespectful. I don't co-sign on the disrespect, but me enjoying it in that perverse way, it being a spectacle, this sport being what it is. Yeah, look, it's professional, it's organized violence, but man, look, there's a primal aspect to it that's still so entertaining and that's still so lovely. It speaks to something in us that's very primitive in the first place. So McGregor made this fight super interesting by being so disrespectful, by having thrown that what is this? It's a fucking bug. McGregor made it so interesting by being so disrespectful, by being such an asshole. McGregor made it interesting. He made me more invested. But I don't agree with people like what Chael Sonnen said after the fight. He said Khabib kept all this energy in throughout the week and then he released it now. Where was it earlier? See, that implies to me, that comment, and I'm not even saying anything against Chael. People think when you have a different view from somebody, you don't like them or something like that. No, get that out of here. But that remark that Chael said, to me, it implies that this was being perceived as all fun and games. No, you can't. I agree with everybody else. You don't talk about a man's family, his religion. I'm not even saying, again, I am not on board with Islam or any religion. But you can't talk about a man's family, a man's religion, and all these other things. Talk about him like a dog. Get up in his face. Say that you would have killed him. Throw the dolly at the bus. Let's not forget, the dude ran up on Khabib with a gang of dudes, threw a big piece of metal at his bus. That is, I'm not even from the hood. And even I'm like, yo, you're now making this about life or death to me. That's just, listen, my view on violence, I abide by something I call the Mike Tyson standard of violence. I don't ever want to fight anybody unless it's completely and utterly necessitous, and which means that it'd have to be a good enough reason to where I would even fight Mike Tyson for it. And I say that because a lot of dudes would fight a normal guy for all kinds of trivial reasons, but a lot of dudes would not fight Mike Tyson for any kind of trivial reason. You would need a really good reason. And so I'm not one of the dudes, oh, I'm gonna hit you if you do some shit like that. I don't want to ever be like that. A lot of those dudes are actually cowards. They're like reverse cowards. Because my suggestion is that a lot of people fight other guys because a part of their mind believes that they're gonna win. But I don't want to fight just because I believe I'm gonna win. I want to fight because it's so meaningful that it's not about, I always want to win. It's not about winning or losing. That I'm fighting for something much more important than just winning. Sorry for that digression. I just wanted to illustrate that because I know a lot of people will be watching this who don't know my views. But that's not a game, man. That's not a game. It's kind of like I heard this podcast recently, and I like the guys. This is the random podcast. I won't say their names, but one of the dudes was talking about dude A was talking about dude B's son. The dude B just had a newborn kid, and something's wrong with the kid. And the person B was describing what was wrong with the kid, and person A made fun of the kid. It was all jokingly. He was like, "Oh man, what's wrong with your son?" And I was like, "Whoa, shit, where do y'all? You can't joke about somebody's kid. Like, you can't call somebody's kid, make fun of something that's wrong with them." I'm super close to my friends. I'm super duper close to the people that I'm close to where we could joke about all kinds of things, and that's kind of off limits to me. And that's cool if you don't consider such things off limits. But my point is that McGregor went over the line times 100. And okay, he went over the line because Khabib slapped his best friend or one of his close friends. I got it. And maybe some other reasons. I got you. But McGregor was the one who made this atmosphere. And then Dana White even used the video of McGregor tossing the dolly into the bus window. He used that in the promotion. It was glamorized. It was celebrated. And McGregor got to fight. All this talk of Khabib being stripped of this, being removed from the country. Are y'all kidding me? 2 wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, this shit does. We're even now. Because it's a bit of a no harm, no foul kind of deal. Because the reason why I would imagine McGregor was given a light kind of punishment, whatever punishment he was given, I'm assuming it's because he didn't actually harm anybody. Like, although his intention was to do so, I'm pretty sure, like, the glass didn't get in anybody's face, the dolly didn't hit anybody, hit a window, he had intention there, but no actual harm was done. I'm wondering, Khabib jumped over the cage and went into the audience, but did he actually harm anybody? Did he connect with somebody? And that's an interesting question, because it's the same then. It's exactly the same. If Khabib did not successfully harm Dylan Dennis or whoever he was going for, then it's exactly like McGregor not harming anybody, although his intention was to do so. And to be honest, I would argue that McGregor's intention was much more, I mean, come on, man. He started it. He started it. And as far as then the other aspect of this is McGregor getting punched, right? But as you can see in this video, one of the videos, it has 2.6 million views, and it's like a good overhead. The dude captures it pretty well. McGregor, from the video I saw, and I'm just staring at McGregor the entire time, and I could be wrong. McGregor jumps on, he's hanging over the octagon, looking at what's going on at the scene where Khabib went. And then a dude wearing or carrying the Khabib wig jumps up there too, and he's kind of like side by side with Conor. And Conor starts punching the dude. Conor starts swinging at the guy, and the guy starts trying to swing at Conor. And then so that guy gets pulled away, McGregor goes back down. He's back down on the octagon's floor. And then another dude comes into the ring, and he's like, because he jumps into the ring, he goes to the dude who had the wig, and like while he's being held up, and he goes to him, he's like checking on him, looking at him, and then he rushes to Conor, he charges Conor, and Conor hits him. And then another dude comes and is like, fuck you, and try to hit Conor. But I'm saying, even then, Conor started that. He looked like he started that shit. I swear I don't care about either of them like that. I don't look at Conor and Khabib have no special place in my heart like that. I'm so fucking neutral, it's not even funny. But it looked like Conor started that. I don't know if he would have been punched if he didn't swing on the dude to begin with. And even people say, well, you know, he's swinging on the dude because that guy was about to go and help Khabib, and he would just want to protect his friends. I get it. I mean, I understand why Conor did it. I get it. But how are y'all? What is this expectation? You could talk all the shit in the world and be the biggest asshole in the world and get really personal, really disrespectful and personal, and not expect some kind of outcome like this. How is this not expected? Brendan Schaub, he said when he was on the podcast with Joe Rogan talking about how he'd have anxiety were he to go to the UFC match because he would be expecting the Russians and the Irish to fight. I know a lot of people like Russians and Irish don't have any kind of historical beef, or they don't have any kind of issue with each other. Although I don't know about the historical beef, but like currently, whether or not they don't have no, like, that's not a beef. But I got what Brendan was saying. Like, I felt the same way. I thought, like, come on, man, all those tensions, all that emotion up there, what's at stake, and all that's been said, I'm sure something's gonna happen. What's funny, what I obviously nobody else expected to happen, was Khabib to be the one to set it off. I didn't expect that to happen. Did not expect Khabib to set that shit off, but he did. And of course, like, it's not, but it's still not shocking. Like, why? This is the last thing. We have to give some credit to most professional and blah, blah, blah. First of all, again, McGregor was not being professional the entire time leading up to this fight. There was no professionalism from McGregor. And I say that without any kind of personal, I can't say this enough. I don't care about McGregor. So I'm saying this as someone who's from a neutral, unbiased, just genuine interest in this, just looking at it as a spectacle that it is leading up to the fight, because I had great interest in this fight. McGregor was being a fucking asshole the entire time, which is normal, right? Cool. He was being, and it made it great. It made me interested in it. I ain't mad at him for it. People talking about how unbecoming and unsightly McGregor's behavior was in that first initial press conference. But I, like many of the people, I got a perverse joy from it. I loved how much of an asshole and how much of a character he was being. Great. But also at the same time, when Khabib was being silent, I assumed, I'm like, Khabib is like, man, I'm gonna fuck this dude up. And I assumed that he was stewing, that he was brewing, that he was angry, because he's like, yo, I'm gonna let this dude talk. I mean, I've seen just a few fights growing up. And a lot of times that's how it is. People talking about how Khabib looked nervous, or he looked unsure, or he was silent and didn't say nothing. Yeah, that's how a lot of dudes are. That is the dude that's just like, they probably can fuck you up. It's not always the case that the dude being silent is like, yeah, keep talking. It's not always the case that he's gonna kick your ass. But they are kind of scary. And so Khabib's pot boiled over, man. He boiled over. He's been boiling the entire time. He's been simmering. It's been at the brink of boiling. And he boiled. The fight was him boiling, and he boiled over. He's like, fuck this shit. My man Khabib had energy to spare. That shit was hilarious. Khabib had enough energy to fight McGregor and then fucking hop the fence, as Dana White put it. Oh shit, sorry. Dana White put it, flying like a monkey, which dude really did fly like a monkey. Shit, what I was saying though? I forgot what I was talking about. Fuck. But how do you not? My point is this: I just really want to get this off my chest, man. When I saw this last night, I was too tired to record anything. But how are you not going to expect this? How can you not expect this? Why is this surprising? McGregor wasn't professional the entire time, and then Khabib explodes, and it's like, oh, that is unacceptable. McGregor's behavior was unacceptable the entire time. It was unacceptable. It's a double standard, man. It's a double fucking. You said the difference is that Khabib jumped and insulted. No, McGregor's intent. He was doing the same. McGregor did the same fucking thing in a different context. That's all it is. He did it in a different context, and now you want that. I don't hate that shit, man. Where like one dude. It's a bit of like what's going on in our political sphere right now. So what McGregor did was he lowered the expectations of himself, because like turn it around, turn it all the way around. McGregor would have be the one who hopped the fence, and like Khabib would have be the one to talk shit. McGregor was silent, and then McGregor hopped the fence. We'd all be like, we understand. And McGregor's a hothead. McGregor does that. He did it in Bellator. He does shit. He talks shit. He jumps around. He's a loose cannon. But Khabib, because he doesn't have those expectations placed, he has a higher standard that is to abide by. When he does that, it's like, hey man, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Get out of here. It's just your bias that's not allowing you to acknowledge that Khabib did no greater than Conor. Like Conor, it was hard to beat unless Khabib really successfully grabbed Dylan and like pounded him. McGregor already lowered the standard. McGregor lowered that motherfucker all the way down. McGregor lowered the standard, man. So when Khabib stoops to that standard, or when Khabib allows himself to get primal and to get real and to be a loose cannon, I don't know how in this particular fight's atmosphere, how is that surprising? How is that so disgusting? Because if you're saying Khabib's behavior is so disgusting and so horrible, you have to also say McGregor sucks too. You do, man, or you're being so biased and unfair. It's not fair. It's not fair to let McGregor behave like that. And then when Khabib does it, because remember, Adali at the window, you got to remember that was the same intention. The intention was to harm Khabib. Out of McGregor's mouth, he said that he would have killed Khabib. He wanted to hurt him. He had his boys there. Come on. Just imagine what would have happened if Khabib would have got off that bus. What would have happened? They would have stomped his ass out. Whereas Khabib jumped into the crowd by him fucking self. You say, oh, this dude jumped the Conor. That goes back to, again, if you watch the video, Conor swung at that dude first, man. That's what it looked like. If you look at, because people are talking about, they're starting people are starting their view of what happened after the fight with that dude that charged Conor. But no, it didn't start with Conor being charged. If you look what happened before that, Conor swung at that dude with the wig. I don't know which video you didn't see, but he swung at the dude with the wig. And then Conor got charged by that dude, because the dude came into the ring. He kind of like gave an eye to eye to the dude that got swung on by Conor. Then he rushed Conor, and then Conor went pop, and then dude came behind Conor and hit him. And so I think that's partially why Conor doesn't give a fuck. Cause if I'm not mistaken, Conor's like, whatever, man. Like this, this is how it go. This is how it go. But y'all been trivializing, acting like this is a game. I don't know how. Like again? I just woke up. I'm all over the place. Cause like, what is expected when Conor does this shit? He did this shit all throughout the fucking the lead up, and then Khabib explodes, and it's like it's unacceptable. You better tell fucking Conor that it's unacceptable. Alright, I'm done. Shit, fuck it. I was all over the place.